With Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, willing to go to extreme lengths to safeguard the family business, his brother, his kid, and everyone else, Young and the Restless takes a turn for the worst. He is thinking about collaborating with Victor Newman, Eric Braeden. We'll discuss how Victor may use this issue to his advantage and pretend to be at peace with Jack. After Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, their shared adversary, is vanquished, Victor might turn on him. Thus this week, Jack informs Kyle Abbott, Michael Nealer, and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, of his strategy for handling the Kane situation. Before Kane can target J-Bot or worsen Billy Abbott's, Jason Thompson, life, Jack declares that he will immediately put his countermeasure into action. Jack is going to propose to work with Victor to defeat Kane, something he never would have imagined doing. Naturally, I agree with Diane and Kyle that this is a bad idea. They have reminded Jack that Victor despises him and will stab him in the back at any chance. However, Jack makes it clear to Diane and Kyle Abbott that he will not give in to Victor. Rather, Jack asserts that he is acting strategically and that he is an expert in his field. Victor never changes his mind. I have a sneaking suspicion that Kyle and Diane are correct and that Jack will soon be in over his head with the mustache. We all know that Victor is currently aggressively scheming to harm Jack. He is attempting to use that potent and unlawful AI program, which can destroy any company that Kane strikes with it, as a form of blackmail to persuade Kane to assist him in targeting Jack and J-Bot. Victor returned to Kane this week and insisted, "Have you made a decision? Will you assist me in destroying Jack and J-Bot using the AI?" In an attempt to get Kane to marry him, Victor threatens to publish a hit article accusing Kane's late father, Colin Atkinson, Tristan Rogers, of exploiting an elderly woman and obtaining her wealth. Victor claims that he will oversee this project at Newman Media, which will harm Arabesque and damage Kane and Colin's reputations. The problem is that Kane doesn't appear to mind if Victor disparages him and Colin in the press. There are two explanations. First of all, Kane doesn't care about his reputation since he believes he has already lost his children for good. The second is that Kane believes Michael Baldwin, Christian Jules Leblanc, his new fixer, can clean up whatever mess Victor tries to create. Kane might believe that Michael can go behind and fix any harm Victor can do. However, as everyone knows, Michael is not truly employed by Kane. Rather, he is spying for Victor and is not at all devoted to his new employer. Victor is reiterating his demand this week as Michael walks on board the choo-choo train. Victor acts as though he has betrayed him by coming to work for Kane, and he hates him for it. Then Victor asks, "Are you with me or not?" and expects an immediate response. "No," Kane replies. He declines Victor. He believes he has nothing that may harm him, and he dislikes being blackmailed. Naturally, Kane is unaware that Victor is acting foolish, and that Victor previously knew Michael was working for him. Additionally, as he revealed to his wife Lauren Fenmore, Tracy Bregman, this week, Kane is unaware that Michael is genuinely attempting to destroy him from the inside out. We'll see, because Kane severed his relationship with an ally this week. Victor might be the target, but I doubt it because they were never allies in the first place. Maybe it's Michael. Perhaps he works it out. Victor wishes Kane luck and believes that his refusal was a foolish one. Victor then declares his intention to crush Kane. I therefore anticipate Victor changing course at the same moment as the Abbotts do, now that he is aware that Kane will not collaborate and will not use the AI against Jack or J-Bot. According to this week's Young and the Restless spoilers, Jack and Victor are discussing a truce in which they may set aside their past disagreements and cooperate to stop Kane. He lives on a train, so that's a small train pun. Victor might even agree if he had no other choice. Victor may use Jack to ruin Kane if he is unable to use Kane to ruin Jack effectively. However, I have no doubt that Victor would turn around and betray Jack and target him, as he has been doing, if he decides to work with Jack after they get Kane neutralized and out of the way. I have absolutely no doubt that Victor will drop this absurd grudge against Jack. Victor actually looks more determined than ever to destroy Jack, Kyle, and Billy, in my opinion. Victor will undoubtedly see this as a fantastic chance. He can give Jack the impression that he trusts him and is on his side. Victor can then attack when Jack's defenses are lowered due to their attention being drawn to Cain. Additionally, Victor may buy some time by feigning to merge with Jack. Then he could use that time to obtain Cain's AI program and use it to target Jabot without Cain's help. Given that Michael is a double agent, Victor might want him to try to steal the AI on his behalf. Victor intends to use it against Jack, but Michael is unaware of this. If Victor were to turn the AI into a weapon, I doubt Michael would agree to take it. Michael is attempting to prevent a civil war in Genoa City, but I firmly believe Victor might take advantage of this. Jack is promising Diane and Kyle that he is vigilant and will keep an eye on things. However, I'm not sure. Since Jack is ultimately a decent man and generally upbeat, I believe Victor could be able to trick him. He is forgiving and strives to see the best in everyone. However, Victor is a horrible guy with a lot of hatred and evil brewing inside of him, much of it directed toward Jack. This week, Melody Thomas Scott's character Nikki Newman receives a shock. It could be that she learns that Victor has allied himself with Jack. Nikki would be shocked by that. At first, she might not believe it, but Victor might be able to trick Jack if he can persuade Nikki. In addition, Victor is obstinate, unyielding, and conceited of his own knowledge and infallibility. He is still determined to hold Jack accountable for the entire Nikki debauchery affair. Therefore, I don't think Victor would actually and genuinely distance himself from Jack. Not actually, not now, and never. For decades, Victor has wanted to ruin Jack. Victor can, however, act as though he accepts the offer and respond. All right, you know what? We already have enough problems. Together, let's put the past behind us and look after Cain. However, I anticipate Victor betraying Jack in the end. In the meantime, Cain may choose to use the AI to eliminate Jabot, Newman, and Chancellor if he discovers Victor and Jack are collaborating. Jack is thinking about taking a big risk with Victor, and I don't think it will work out well for him in the long run. Rivals are more intense than romantic relationships in the world of the young and the restless, and none have shaped Genoa City more than the long-running conflict between Victor Newman and Jack Abbott. They have taken each other's brides, toppled civilizations, and slashed each other in the knees. Nevertheless, these two titans constantly return for another round despite years of treachery. Early spoilers now hint at a thrilling plot point in which Victor Newman makes amends with his biggest enemy, but as is typical of Newman, the ceasefire is far from sincere. Perhaps the most deadly trap Victor has ever created is what Jack believes to be a step toward peace. When Victor shockingly declares that he is prepared to get past his animosity with Jack, the drama begins. Jabot and Newman enterprises have frequently been caught in the crossfire of the Newman and Abbott families' decades-long corporate and personal conflicts. However, Victor's most recent gesture is presented as a mature gesture, indicating that he is fed up with squandering energy on the past. Naturally, Jack has doubts. He is too familiar with Victor to think that fairy tales are real. Victor's delivery, however, is perfect this time. He presents his case to Jack, pours him a glass of rare whiskey, and extends an invitation to the Newman Ranch. Jack has been longing to hear a line like this. He has long envisioned a future in which his business could prosper without ongoing savagery. Jack lowers his defenses against his better judgment, but not everyone is happy with Jack's ceasefire with Victor. Diane Jenkins, who has previously done everything in her power to maintain her position in Jack's life, expresses mistrust right once. Diane cautions Jack not to fall for Victor's deceptive tactics because she is the one who is most aware of them. Diane, Jack, Victor doesn't make peace. He takes action. You're giving him precisely what he wants if you fall for this. But Jack is worn out. He has cultivated his feud with Victor and defended Jabot for decades. Diane's words cling to him, but he longs for the release of tension. This time, could Victor be sincere? What fans already suspect is confirmed by spoilers. The truce that Victor has declared is merely a well-planned ruse. Beneath his composed exterior, Victor has initiated a clandestine operation that targets Jabot's vulnerabilities. Victor's first step in his plan: persuading Jack to divulge Jabot's next major expansion plan. Victor gently nudges the conversation into business at one of their peaceful encounters by posing harmless questions that cause Jack to divulge way too much. Victor keeps all the details to himself while listening, nodding, and feigning to give counsel. He's been waiting for this opportunity. The second step? Victor unintentionally exploits Michael Baldwin, who already has his own secret as a pawn. Victor coerces Michael into assisting in the creation of a shell company, which is intended to intervene and thwart J-Bot's expansion plans, under the pretense of legal advice. Loyal but cautious, Michael isn't really sure what he's getting himself into. It might be too late by the time Jack knows what's going on. Kyle Abbott becomes enmeshed in the situation as Victor spins his tale. Kyle, who is still divided between his ambition and his father's allegiance, plays a significant role in the plot as it develops. Victor subtly attempts to entice Kyle into the Newman orbit after realizing his fears. He portrays Jack as an elderly guy who harbors resentment and offers Kyle chances if he is prepared to let go. Kyle is drawn to the prospect of establishing himself apart from Jack, but at what price? The delicate harmony of the Abbott family may be destroyed if Kyle unintentionally supports Victor's plots. Even Nikki Newman feels that Victor's alleged ceasefire is strange. Despite her love for her spouse, she is accustomed to his brutality. As Victor meets with enigmatic colleagues and makes late-night phone calls, Nikki becomes more and more anxious. Victor dismisses Nikki's confrontation. He tells her that everything is good and that she should be happy that he and Jack are at last getting along. However, Nikki is aware of her husband's telltale signs, and she may decide to surreptitiously look into them. Will Nikki reveal Victor's scheme before everything blows up, or will she keep quiet to save her marriage? Early on in the truce, Jack gives himself permission to experience hope, something he hasn't felt in years. He briefly envisions a world free of conflict. Tracy, who constantly yearns for harmony within the Abbott family, hears his optimism. Tracy advises Jack to follow his gut, but cautions him against doing so. Their chat is bittersweet, since it serves as a reminder of the costs incurred over the years by their competition with Victor. The inevitable betrayal is all the more terrible because of this vulnerable moment. When Jack discovers the truth, the plot reaches its conclusion. Perhaps as a result of Diane's investigation or Nikki's tactful intervention, Jack learns of Victor's shell business move and recognizes that he has once again been duped. This time, the betrayal is more profound because Jack gave in to his faith. His rage is explosive. He slams Victor's office doors open as he storms into Newman Enterprises and demands answers. Jack. Victor, you met my gaze directly. You claimed that the war was over. And I foolishly trusted you. Victor just smirks, as composed as ever. Victor. Jack, you should know better than anyone. Trust is just another vulnerability to take advantage of in business. Their feud is spectacularly reignited in the showdown. There was never a truce. In Victor's never-ending game, it was just another chess move. In the meantime, the corporate conflict between J-Boat and Newman intensifies once more, with threats of hostile takeovers, litigation, and shattered partnerships. Even though Jack has been duped, he refuses to remain down. His resolve is strengthened by the humiliation. Jack promises to beat Victor at his own game this time. He starts preparing a counteroffensive, enlisting supporters from all across Genoa City, and possibly even contacting Victor's adversaries, who would be thrilled to see the Newman patriarch overthrown. The prospect of a united front against Victor is alluring, but will Jack be able to muster enough support without upsetting his closest friends and family? And will his vengeance fixation endanger his relationship with Diane once more?